Hey, what's good, y'all? What's good, man? It's the Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth. About to get it in, about to bring out some good little stories, some current events, and definitely some history, some authentic history, as always, man. As always. How's everybody's Sunday going, man? Listen, in Southern California today, man, it's an excellent, beautiful day today. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. How is it where you are at? Let me see the comments. Renee said it's been raining since Wednesday. Damn, it's been raining, Renee. What, 3 weeks now? It's been raining since Wednesday night and haven't stopped. It's flooding everywhere. They canceled in person school tomorrow, but the kids will have online school. They will have online school. Thank you, Renee. Thank you. Yeah, I took my hair down so that I can get it braided for the Passover, so I can get it retwisted for the Passover. And yeah, so I didn't want to go. I didn't want to because my plan was to do the live, then go to the gym. So I didn't want to get my hair done early, then go to the gym and get all sweaty. So I decided to just, tough it out, stick it out. It had a live with my hair down, which it ain't no thing. It ain't no thing, but that's the reason why I took my hair down so I can get it retwisted for the Passover. I'll be in Atlanta, Lord willing. I'll be in Atlanta um, next week, and that's gonna be my first time. I want to see the things that people is talking about, when it comes to the lifestyles out there, whatnot, and report back to Black Authentic Truth, my experience in Atlanta, Georgia. I wish I had more time to be able to go, to places like historical places. Pretty sure they got some plantations in Georgia, definitely. And what else is out there? I forget his name, the brother. I wanted to talk about that brother too, the inventor. I don't want to mix his name up, but the brother out there that created a process to turn plastic into gasoline. Um, Let me get this brother name. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name, but I would like to meet him. I would like to see his setup. Uh, I know his company is Nature Jab, right? That's crazy. And he's like me. He doesn't have his name. He doesn't has his name on his page, but his page is Nature Jab. That's. But I would like to see that brother, right? Just something else that happened out there. Yes, I would like to get some insight on what's going on with the twins out there. The twins that were found in Bell Mountain. The twins that they're saying that it was a murder suicide, in the family saying that they're not buying that story. If possible, I would like to talk to the family and get some more insight, more than what is out there. There's no updates or anything about what's going on with that investigation or whatnot. There's a couple of things that that take precedence over sightseeing and wanting to, other than the Passover. If I had some time, I would want to do some things with my kids or whatever. But that definitely takes precedence. You know what I mean? Like what's really going on with our people, current events, um, just Black Authentic Truth, dealing with those type of topics. But anyway, I'm gonna get into what I want to get into. So I think I got about 8 stories, about 8 different topics, and I'm gonna try to run through them. Okay, I'm gonna run through them as fast as I can, but try to be as thorough as I can. Try to be as thorough as I can. And so this first video, let me get it. This first video deals with, you know, 304ism. That's how I'm gonna put it. 304ism. Let me get it. I'm pulling it up. And then after that, I'll get into the story with Carmelo Anthony, the young brother who has been locked up uh, for stabbing a twin at a track event in Frisco. I believe the place is called Frisco, Texas.
Have the support of a massive group that participates in ratchet behavior and ratchet thinking. Now, white, Asian, and Hispanic, they got ratchet people, but you had to go away from the group to do that. They don't house you. They don't nurture that. The black community, the massive group accepts it and nurtures it. It's totally backwards. Rather than sending the ratchets away, the massive black groups bring the ratchets. There's a safe space for them. When they're confronted, you look like the minority because you are the minority that confronts that culture, and they're the majority. This is the only group, this is the culture where the ratchets has the power socially. The nerds, the high value minded people. When I'm talking about high values, I'm talking about pro-social values, generosity, respect, honor, faithfulness, kindness. I'm talking about community. High values your way of being. The people like us, we in the black community are the rejects. In other groups, the ratchets are the rejects. In other groups, that's for entertainment for them. They're going home doing the right thing. The smart people are elevated because they know you're the key to our progress. In our group, the smart ones are rejected and they think you trying to oppress them. It's interesting. You so backwards. You think we trying to oppress you. We trying to free you.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things to unpack inside of what she said in this video. Mainly is that our society in the black community, we make a safe space for 304ism. We make a safe space for women to be half naked, to be 304s, to be whores. We make it okay. Not saying that it is in our nature, but there is a bigger thing at play. This society, American society, makes it okay also, right? They're the first ones to make it okay. They're the first ones to uh degrade women, sexualize women, especially black women in slavery. But they have produced an atmosphere in America that says that this is okay. And so this is not solely something that I would blame on black people, on black women, black men, but I mean, once you become an adult, you know right from wrong. You know exactly what is right. Or I mean, I've seen women that wear something real skimpy, right? And they carry themselves as though they're walking and they're like fixing their clothes, they're constantly pulling it down. And there's a level of shame that you know that they're feeling, even though they came out like that. But if you were to say something like, women should dress modestly, you should put some clothes on. You shouldn't be all exposed like that, whether it's in real life or on social media. The angry mob or what is it? What do we call it? The better brew of angry bees will come after you. You know what I mean? And so the thing is, man, is that like this society makes that dysfunction okay. It makes that dysfunction okay when we know the difference from right and wrong, and they make it as though it's wrong for a woman to actually feel some type of shame. Oh, you should feel shame. You know what I mean? Like a man should feel shame for having his pants hanging off of his tail, and so should a woman feel shame also for being exposed. And Captain Tazariak had made a post that was it was a very thoughtful post, and it goes into the psychology of how people think. Now, the question was posed, why is it that women are not considered naked in a bikini, but they're considered naked in their underwear? Like if a woman has a bra and her underwear on, that's considered naked in a majority of people's minds. But a bikini, which is virtually the same thing, it's not. And a woman is out about, you go to the beach and women, everything is out. You go somewhere like Miami, I've never been, but I've heard the stories from brothers out there. Los Angeles, any beach out here, and you will see women basically naked. But this is what the society has said is okay. And this society has created a safe space. Now, when we talk about the black community, it's time to grow up. We have women online that are basically naked that will fight for, it's a demon, because they will fight for the right to be naked in public. And as far as I'm concerned, being naked in public is the same thing as being naked on social media. Like, sidebar, a lot of people like to act like what goes on social media is not who they are. It's not real life. To a certain extent, social media is who a person is. Like what a person says and how they represent themselves on social media, whether they're always telling jokes or they're being silly or whether they're being serious or whatever, that is who they are. And so the same way a woman will make, posts half naked, you should expect that she'll do that in real life too. You know what I mean? So I don't look at them like they're any different. I look at like what you're doing. This is you. Like you're doing this on social media, but this is who you are. You know what I mean? But getting back to the main point I wanted to make is that we have to grow up as a people. Our sisters will fight to be 304s and to express themselves, and they call that body positivity. They call that women's empowerment. There's nothing empowering about that when you in a society that has historically sexualized Black women's bodies. Black women tried to act so deep with Erykah Badu's performance, where she wore that big suit that, insinuated that she was making fun of a BBL. And then Black women started saying, oh, it's deeper than that. It's about Sarah Bartman. Well, Sarah Bartman, she was degraded and sexualized and put on display, taken from Africa. And first of all, let me just say, Sarah Bartman is not Black. She's not our people. She was from the Khoisan people, or those people that they say are some of the oldest people in Africa, in the world, that some people claim that the Asians descend from them. I don't believe that, because of their features. They have a flat face and very tight eyes, and they're typically like lighter shade of brown, right? Well, she was taken from there to Europe and put in circuses, and they prod and pricked and over-sexualized her because of the shape of her body. And so Black women said, Erykah Badu, that was a deep message. It was about Sarah Bartman. But they can't see that the same man, he sexualized Black women, and now Black women do it to themselves. They degrade themselves. They Sarah Bartman themselves. No one has to force you to be on display like you're in a damn glass box. You do it to yourselves now. And that's supposed to be women's empowerment. Now, this world done created a safe place for whores, for 304s, and everybody is scared to say what the truth really is and what is right and wrong. How can we build better families, a better community, if our women are walking around half naked? You can't blame it on the clothing manufacturers. You got to blame it on your choice to wear what you wear and not have any shame at all. The Bible says that a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. And you know what a female dog is. And the irony is, at this point in time, I can't even go through my timeline on Facebook without seeing someone saying, have you seen my daughter? Have you seen this woman? She's missing. Women are literally getting snatched off the streets in an operation that I can't even fathom what is going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? This is not normal. And nobody is looking at it. Nobody is paying attention. But everybody wants to be half naked or damn near naked online for attention. So, with that said, I'm gonna drop that. Let me read some of your comments. I ain't even looking at the comments. Deandra, you said those heathens are way more ratchet than us. I believe we are always hyper focused on our shortcomings and look at heathens in some higher moral position. Yes, definitely we put everybody in a higher moral position than us. And everything that goes on in the Black community, I also know that they do it too. There's just a big focus on whatever we do, especially when it comes to crime and when it comes to the media machine that focuses on the shortcomings of Black people to take away the focus from what these other nationalities do. So I agree with that. So that I believe we have learned from our environment and from being with oh yes, definitely. Michael Foster said they show bra and panties on commercials, swimsuit models, and Playboy. And that's I think I made that point that we live in a society that says that it's okay. So we have to fight against the witchcraft of the society that's constantly bombarding you with these images and saying this is life, this is okay from a societal perspective. There's nothing wrong with it. Like when the man that designed the bikini, okay, it was a man, I believe he was a French man. Somebody can fact check this. He came with the design for the bikini in the 1940s. Before that, women would wear like, those bathing suits in those bathing suits that have like a skirt or something like that to go to the lake or go to the ocean. Women were covered, right? But then they came with that bikini, which is like two halves, and the body more exposed. It got a lot of pushback back then because this society had a little more family Christian values. So they pushed back a lot on the bikini, but then slowly they accepted the bikini as, clothing. When in reality, you're looking at a naked woman. There is no imagination that you need to have to wonder what she looks like. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's in public at the beach can look at her too. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry that is on social media is looking at her too. And so what is the difference between nowadays a bikini and a bra and panties? There is no difference. We consider the bra and panties being naked. No one is would you walk as a woman, would you walk outside in a pair of bra and panties? You wouldn't. But there's a woman that in her mind a bikini is okay, but she wouldn't go outside in a bra and panties. That I just wonder about the psychology of how our people think and how certain things you can start to see that are acceptable and make sense really don't make any sense when you start comparing and contrasting. So I'm gonna drop this right now. I want to talk about the brother that this is a current event that stabbed the linebacker football player twins in Texas, and he is on charges for murder. And he says that it was self-defense, that this young man put his hands on him. Okay, let me get, I think I have a picture. Let me pull the picture up. So this is Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. Now, I'm sure most brothers and sisters already know the story. They were at a track meet. It started raining. Carmelo, the brother, was sitting under a tent from a different school. Uh, the twin, Austin, asked him who is he? He's not supposed to be there. Told him he needs to go. There was words between them. Carmelo said that if you put your hands on me, don't put your hands on me. And something happened, an altercation happened, physical, and Carmelo pulled out a knife and stabbed him in the heart. Austin died within minutes. Okay. And people are saying that this is murder. I'm sorry, Carmelo admitted off top that to the police, like, yeah, I stabbed him, and I was defending myself. So from the looks of this situation off top, it looks like a FAFO situation. You know what I'm saying? F around and find out. And one thing you can learn, all people can learn from this, is keep your hands to yourself. Because let's be real, you don't know how somebody else is going to react if you put your hands on them. That's in this day and age, these youngsters is walking around with all type of weapons. And just in general, right? Just in general, anybody, adults, anybody, let's just give a hypothetical. You get into a altercation over road rage or something like that. You get out the car. There's a good example of that. A video a year ago. You get out the car and run up on somebody, hitting a car, threatening to beat the hell out of them, and they pull a firearm out and shoot you dead. My point is, you don't know how somebody's going to react to you physically threatening them. In that moment, people can react any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And so the spin that they're doing in the media, I purposely chose to find a picture with this brother where he looks good, because they basically is posting a picture of Austin on the left like that, and the brother with the mug shot. They're also posting this picture. Let me put this picture up. This is what the media is doing. This is the spin that the media is going with. They're also putting these pictures up. So on the right, you see Carmelo, right? And they say, look at him, look at this thug. And he's a murderer. He shouldn't have had a knife, right? And that's a question I had too. Why did why did he have a knife? I'm gonna go into that, right? But they posted this picture a lot with him with a gun. But there's pictures of Austin with guns. In fact, his father said, he had just went out hunting with them and he killed his first pig. But the media puts the spin on it. These are both people who are underage. So technically, you're not supposed to have a gun, right? Come to find out that Carmelo has an airsoft gun in his hand in this picture. The gun ain't even real. It's a BB gun. It's not a real AK. It looks like a replica of an AK style gun, right? But the media is trying to spin it. And what they're doing is they're making him guilty already. And if you know anything about propaganda, that's what it does to people, to people in the public, to public opinion. It makes you start to look at a person. And they already have done this with Black people with the negative imagery that they have circulated about Black people, the negative stories all the time that they choose to post about Black people dealing whenever it's some type of crime or something like that. And historically, the negative images, the racist caricatures that they have done. So propaganda, images stick in your head and they give you a perspective that might not even be the truth. Now, we don't know the truth. And I asked, I said, well, why this brother had a knife? Why did he even have a knife? Right. And you have to really think about it. Now, this brother right here, Karmelo, 4.0 student, he is a sports athlete with multiple offers from different colleges, and he works 2 jobs, and he's never been in trouble. But you wouldn't know that unless you did some deep diving and some research, because all of the media outlets are saying all of the accolades of Austin. They're saying he's a 4.0 student. He was the captain of the football team. He was a linebacker. They're saying all of that and leaving out anything about Karmelo. And basically, these 2 youths were basically had the same resume. And now there's other things they're saying, like some of the family members that came out and said these 2 brothers, which are twins, were bullies. And that the story is people are not getting the full story, which I believe. Now, Carmelo's bond is set at $1 million. And there's a GoFundMe set up that has so far I believe has gotten 60K. Whereas the father set up one for the son, and I believe it's around 250,000, 250K. What do y'all think about this? Because the whole story ain't came out. But what we do know is that they're in a stand your ground state. And Karmelo told him not to put his hands on him. And if he does, he's going to do something. Am I saying that it's right that he should have had a knife? I'm not, but we don't know the story, the background story. Why would someone that has never been in trouble like him, that, 4.0 student, works 2 jobs, in sports, has many offers from different colleges, why would he have a knife? You know what I mean? That's one question, and I'm just being honest. But from the looks of it, and what we can ascertain and what we can learn, what people can learn from this is keep your hands to yourself. I believe if the linebacker, the brother, Austin, had not put his hands on him, I don't think we would be having this discussion. Renee Gaines says, because the Hoagie was messing with him. Deandra said, he probably has had encounters with those white devils before and felt the need to protect himself. It has to be more than, of course, there's more to the story than what the media is ever going to tell us. And the crazy part that people need to pay attention to, and especially you Black folks in those rural areas in the South, in Texas and Georgia, what you also need to pay attention to is the anger that white people have right now over this situation. And let me just say, I don't even believe it would be a big story if it was white on white. And it just shows you how much, not all, but a certain demographic of white people want to be a victim so bad from Black people. And their racist beliefs are in all the comments. Their how should I? Their race. What's the word? Their racially charged stereotypes are in the comments when talking about this case, calling Karmelo a thug and a criminal, and talking about his parents, when all we know right now is that it was self-defense. And unfortunately, someone died from it. But if it comes out that it was self-defense, then it's like you learn your lesson. People that are still alive should learn their lesson. Keep your hands off of people. You don't know what they are willing to do. You don't know the mental state of a lot of people. You know what I mean? We don't know what happened in the beginning. We don't know, obviously he had some run-ins with them. Yeah, in rural, yeah, you right. You right, Negro League. Period. Negro League, because I said you gotta now you gotta this is racially charged. And what I was saying was black people gotta be on guard everywhere because this is how these people they want to retaliate. Trust me, if this was 50 years ago, they would have already broke into that, they would have already broke into that jail and they would have lynched that brother. I'm speaking facts. And if they could do it, if they could get away with it right now because of the mass anger that they have right now, they would do it. This is the type of people you dealing with, and you still sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel for brothers and sisters that don't know what time it is, especially when things like this is circulating in the media and you have Donald Trump doing what he's doing, and these people are emboldened to commit acts like this in the dark that they feel will never come to the light of day. Right, Black Rain. Deandra said, our people are always victims in these cases. We never have protection. I'm glad the brother was able to protect himself. The law won't give us justice either way. Leave us alone, Esau. Politics shouldn't come to this case. Black people tired of people telling them what to do. They always talk about the problem and not the cause. Right. So like I said, this case is racially charging people. Now, there's a clip with the father of Austin Metcalf. He said this is not about race. And he said it's not about race. White people were angry with him like he's a traitor. What the hell is he talking about? They want it to be about race so bad. They want to be a victim so bad. They want to be a victim of black people so bad. Then flip around and call you a victim when you talk about the injustices of your people. My point is, you can't even really win with them. You know what I mean? And we know that we would not even hear about it like this if it was white on white. But the fact that this is a young brother, that he's black, they are going bananas in the comments about this story, in the media about this story. They're going bananas. And we don't even have all of the facts. But people that know the twins, people that were there that know what happened are saying these twins were bullies. And you got to ask yourself the question, why would a straight A student that works two jobs, that has multiple offers from different colleges, that actually runs track, those two brothers they play football. Technically, they're not supposed to be there, but I guess it's a school event, and different people from different sports, they go to different school events. But he actually had a reason for being there. Karmelo, he ran track, and his friends were there. So yeah, it's up in the air. We'll see as the story unfolds and as more details come out what's going on with it, what really happened. But like I said, there's a lot of points I've made, but the main point is, don't F around and find out. Keep your hands to yourself because you don't know the measure in which a person is going to respond to your physical attack. You might hit them, but they probably not going to hit you back. And you don't know what's going on. This is not just for young adults and teenagers. This is for adults, people that should know better. You don't know what a person is going to come back with. You don't know. And so don't F around and find out. So let me get to this next story. And this kind of goes along with the energy. Hey, shout out to you, Black Rain 303. Always rocking with me. Let me remove this. Let me remove this.
White people. It's 2025. Racism could have been over with. But nah. Y'all went there and picked up the motherfucking Midwest there and said, yeah, it's all good. We hate y'all motherfuckers. We're gonna keep it on. Racism could be over with. But y'all continue down the same pattern as your grandpa and your grandma and all that stuff. We counting on y'all to be different. Wasn't y'all supposed to be different? It's 2025 and yet still we got racism in America. It ain't black people's fault that racism in America exists. Matter of fact, your way of racism has spilled over into several other minorities. Like Asians hate us. Like Indians hate us. Damn, Africans hate us. It ain't cause we lazy, that's just what y'all say. Cause we done work for everything. I mean, everything. Voting, fucking, working, damn, having a house, redlining, all of that shit just to get up in the fucking front line and use a water fountain. We have to fight for everything. And y'all wanna call us lazy? No, this just a story y'all like to say about us because y'all hate to say what the truth is. White people, this is your fault, man. At the end of the day, this could have been over with. Y'all could have looked at us as if we were human beings and not black people.
So the brother starts off by saying, racism should have been over with. And white people today in 2025, y'all supposed to be different. Wasn't y'all supposed to be different? And the brother is, in a way, he's making a plea, but I sympathize with the brother, but I also understand that a lot of our people are lost in the sauce thinking that America is going to change, that racism is going to go away. He made some good points, though. He said white people, instead of not being racist, you said we're going to do what our grandpas did. We're going to do what our forefathers did. We're going to continue to do that. Then he talked about how hard black people had to work, that we're not lazy. We had to work. We had to work for everything. Nothing was given to black folks. Nothing was given to us. We had to work for everything. And these people still don't look at us in many cases as human beings. The brother posted, shout out to my brother Yatab. He had posted where somebody was calling black people monkeys, under the story of Karmelo Anthony and the Metcalf twins. What black people don't understand is that we are God's chosen people. And they don't know who they're dealing with when they look at the white people. They think that, white people have a problem with racism and white people just need to get over racism. And if they don't teach it to their kids, that this racism will go away. Well, I'm here to tell you that that racism will never go away. The book of Ezekiel 35:5 says that, for thou hast had a perpetual hatred against the children of Israel. It's never ending, meaning it will be forever. It will be forever. Now, will you be able to find some good white folks? Of course, just like any other race but the point is that it will last forever. And so what black people have to do is not focus so much on the racism getting better and white people becoming better. Black people have to focus on black people becoming better. Us getting, ourselves together, our families together. creating strong families, resenting and resisting all of the tricks of America. You know what I'm saying? That's how we become strong. Put down the drugs. Put down all the hatred for one another. Put down following societal norms in America. Put it down. Put those alternative lifestyles down. Throw them away. And try to be the best people we can be. We be that, and nobody can even get near to us if we become that. But if we're looking for racism to disappear, and we're saying, man, it's 2025, it's 2027. Let me tell you something. You'll be here in 2050 saying, damn, man, I thought white people was going to change, man. I thought y'all was going to change. It'll still be here. So we have to focus on us and become the best people, the most righteous people we can be. Shout out to Anaquadam. Salakia. Anaquadam. I always mess up on a brother name. I'll get it right. Black Rain says, the Most High seen it, Ezekiel 35:5, a perpetual hatred. Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Like we a people, right? We're a nation. What y'all don't realize is like, well, I'm not saying y'all, people that know me and I know you. What the majority of Black people don't realize is that we are a nation within another nation. You think that this is the crazy part about Black people, right? This is the crazy part about y'all. Is you be like, we all one, yeah, go America, yeah, this and all, and patriotic, and we built this place. Man, this is another people's country that established this place with bloodshed. Now, in a righteous world, yeah, this would be ours. It will be ours in a righteous world, but we don't live in a righteous world. We live in the world of the wicked. You understand? We don't live in a righteous world with righteous dealings. White people didn't get America by fair dealing and square business practices. That's not how they attained America. I want you to think about anything that people have done, and like anything that you do, and it is something that is crooked. It is something that is wicked, and it prospers. Eventually it will crumble. Like, you can't be a drug dealer and make all this money off of destroying people's lives, off of hurting other people, murdering other people. Then you leave the drug business to start, a square business, to start a laundromat, or to start, open up a clothing store with the money that you got from that. Eventually that will crumble too, because it was built off of, what it was built off. The foundation is crooked. That's the same with America. The same thing with America is built. The foundation is in bloodshed, in slavery. The North American Indians, the Mexicans, Black people in slavery. That's how America became great. So it can only last for so long. But this is the thing about Black people. You believe in that thing of the melting pot. The funny thing is about the melting pot, it's like a pot with all of these, let's just say, precious metals, that's mixed in. Or it's a pot with, let's say, stew, right? It's stew with some, some potatoes, some vegetables, some meat, all kind of things. All of these ingredients are different nationalities. Now, Black people, you're in this big melting pot. The problem is you're the only people that's getting burnt. You at the bottom getting burnt, close to the fire, in hell, living a hellish life, making a decision of how you're going to pay your rent. You're living in hell. You know what I'm saying? So you can't expect for this place to prosper and go on and go on. I mean, some of y'all need to really wake the hell up. Look at the state of of affairs with America and all the other countries right now. America is making enemies with countries that were their friends. America has made enemies with countries that was down with them, right next door, Canada. And so you have to be realistic with yourself and say, like, damn, this place, it's crumbling. The infrastructure, the government, it's crumbling, and it's because of what it started from. Now, if you start a business, another, ideology, analogy, you start a business, fair dealing, honest, respectful. If you started like that, yeah, it'll last forever. The same if you started a country like that. But all of these countries, especially these new ones, they started by warfare and bloodshed, of theft and robbery and rape. And so you can only expect what the outcome is going to be. Right? Let me drop this. I know I probably got off a topic, y'all. Y'all gotta keep me on topic sometimes. You know what I mean? Now this is going into the theft of the land. So that's a story about $5 Indians. Move that. I think it might be okay. I'm gonna start off with this one just to give you an idea the type of money that people who are considered Native Indians, what they're getting from these casinos. I know right around here I have Yamava Casino, used to be formerly known as San Manuel Casino, and I've heard stories of them, getting like 20,000 a month if you're a member of that particular tribe, 20,000 a month. But this video kind of goes into it. It's a new casino by the Seminole Indians that's in Vegas.
Hello, it's Vegas Police. In the Seminole tribe of Florida, owners of the Hard Rock brand are one of the wealthiest tribes in America. Their tribal members get $128,000 a year. You need 1/4 tribal blood to get that money, and there are roughly 4,000 members. You can see that the guitar is starting to take shape here in front of the Mirage in Las Vegas. An interesting fact is that children of the tribe have their payments go into trust until they're 18 years old. So every child turns 18 a multi-millionaire. The state of Florida gets $650 million from the tribe in a compact that they have agreed to. This is a tribe that never took no for an answer. I watched them battle the state of Florida for 20 or 30 years, and they came out on top with 6 incredibly busy gaming establishments. So between the $650 million that they give the state, the $500 million that they give their tribal members, they're taking $100 million a month just from their profits. We don't know how much money they actually make.
$100 million a month just from the profits of one casino. They have 6 casinos. Now I'm bringing this out so you can see, the type of money that if you are in fact Indian, the type of money that you are entitled to. You know what I mean? If you're part of one, and this is not every Indian tribe. You look at the Lakota are living in squalor. It looks like a third world country on the reservation of the Lakota. The Lakota, like most, like I think all Native American Indian tribes suffer from a very high rate, destructive rate of alcoholism. It's very poor. They're living in, shacks on the Lakota reservation. So this is a very, very small percentage. You got to think it was 500 nations before the white man came of North American Indians. And so this is, when you think about casinos, this is a very small percentage. I don't know the percentage, but I would say between 1% and 2% of all Native Indians that get to benefit from from that. But the thing is, and what we're going to go into is that there are a lot of $5 Indians. There are pure blood Europeans that are benefiting from these benefits that come from these gaming institutions. And so let me get this other video. Let me see. Get this other video. There's actually a video with Donald Trump, which is pretty funny, pretty hilarious.
Discussing Indian blood. We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians, and a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Now, that's Donald Trump talking about Native Indians in Connecticut. This is from 1993. But it's clear, when you look at white people versus real Indians, you can see the difference. The same as like we're in Southern California. You can tell the difference between a white person and a Mexican person. It's not very hard to tell. You can see the Indian in them versus the, the Caucasus in a white person. You know what I mean? And so this has always been known that there are a lot of white people that claim to be Native American Indians, and they are not. And I got one more video for you on this subject, but I just want to say now the Dawes Rolls or the Dawes Acts was when, they were giving out allotments of land and benefits to Native American Indians of the 5 nations. And so what white people would do was to bribe government officials to put their names by giving them $5 to put their names on the rolls. This would guarantee that they would get this land and that their descendants would benefit. And today, a lot of their descendants benefit from, these allotments and these monies that was supposed to be going to real Native American Indians, which is crazy. So now you will see, a person that looks like a European from Europe saying that they are Native American Indian. They're Cherokee. They're, Chickasaw. And you're like, you look no different than what's the dude name on the food that Gordon Ramsay. You look no different than Gordon Ramsay. Like you are not no Native Indian. You know what I'm saying? But let me get this other video. Now, this is a video of a guy that did tests, and he's telling these people, these other white people that claim to be Indian, that they don't have no Indian blood. And they done grew up believing that they were Native Indian, and they are upset. All right.
I would just urge those who want to have a second forum to keep your eye on the issue here. The issue is that the individuals in these groups do not have Abenaki ancestry. They have great stories. Who determines that? Because I've actually actually did the genealogies of every single family that they claim in their own documentation. And there's no Abenaki ancestors. That's it. That's the story. You had a flawed process that recognized people who have no Abenaki ancestry, and now you have individuals who are upset because of that, because there's a possibility that that truth will come out. But that was never part of the process. I have all of the documents. You can access them yourself. This is a serious problem that you've engaged in.
So he's bringing out the fact that he's done the genealogy on all of these people and they have no Indian ancestry at all. And they are upset. You understand? And this goes back to the Dawes Rolls, which day to day, they admit that the Dawes Rolls is flawed, but they still use that to determine whether or not you are Native American or not. And so it's just a flawed system. And it's hilarious at this point that these people, these descendants of these colonizers, are upset because now the truth is starting to come out and show that they are not connected to real Native Indians. I mean, we can just do the look test, but when somebody does the genealogy, there is, it's conclusive. There is, nothing else you can say to that. You know what I mean? But people truly believe that they are Native American Indians. Michael said, if we still talking about racism and slavery go hand in hand, after slavery, they passed laws to protect their crimes against Black people, deny reparation, but we carry America's debt. That's so true. Land of the free, but you got to pay taxes, slave labor, politics, rich in America and in debt. Politicians passing laws to criminalize their citizens. True indeed. Black Rain said, upset like when they find out Christ in the tribe of Judah is Black and not white. That's truth. That's truth to power, Black Rain. Renee Gaines said, I'm getting tested. Shit, my daddy got Indian in him, but I don't know which one. Yes, you should. You should, Renee. You should, definitely. Yeah, so now I'm going to, there's another video. I don't know if y'all seen this one with Terrence Howard talking about P. Diddy, them P. Diddy parties. And he said some heavy stuff. I want to talk about it. I want to get into that. Because I think that's very relevant to people wanting to be in the entertainment industry, whether you want to be a movie star, or whether you can sing. Everybody believe they can rap, and I'm not saying we can't. We are very talented like that. But I'm gonna make that point when I'm gonna make the point. I was finna make it right now. I'm gonna make it once I play this video.
Short life in
why do you think that is? What the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what Heath had to do in order to get to where he was at. There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things. When you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. get punked out and pimped out by some over greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there, because they get fluid, and next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
Man, I mean, you know, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy.
Damn. Now, what he is saying is something that, you know, from a perspective of the truth, and when I talk about the condition of Black people and being drug addicted, I totally understand what he is saying. And I hope y'all are getting what he is saying. He is saying when they're up in that industry, they have to give up the behind. And once you do that as a man, you're trying to find yourself again. You don't got no foundation no more. So in order to cope with yourself, you're doing all of the drugs that you can do and staying high all the time. That's why I always I wondered about, you know, and just coming from the world, I didn't want to, I came into the truth years ago, right? Learning the truth, who Black people really are. But before that, I used to look at those, you know, those conspiracy theories or what's going on in the music industry. And I used to say, well, it has to be true, because look at the way the brothers have to stay high constantly, have to have something in your cup, have to be rolling a blunt constantly. You have to stay in that state to even deal with yourself and look at yourself in the mirror. This is somebody, Terrence Howard, that is actually in the industry, that is telling you what they go through, what you got to give up in that industry. You want to be an actor, you want to be a rapper, whatever you want to be. These people are not just there because they are very talented. That's the thing you got to think about also. Black people are talented in general. In general, you can go on the streets and find a homeless person that can sing, that can blow, you know, their vocals, you know, have vocals out of this world. You could find somebody that could rap everywhere. But are you going to find somebody that when they're put in that situation, that in order to get that fame, they're going to allow something like that to be done to them? Not everybody's going to do that. So they're not going to get the record deal. And the point I'm making is the people that you are seeing in the industry, they're there because of a reason. It's not just because of their talent. And then they're always staying high and staying on drugs. It's because of the things that you can't even believe that goes on behind closed doors, like what he is talking about.
And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here.
Listen, he said, what if you done got the Oscars, what benefit is it if you done lost your soul? The scriptures tell you that. What point is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul? You got everything any person would want in life, but you done sold your soul. You done lost yourself, right? Being a power bottom to some man. That's crazy. But it's hard for like the average person that has morals and would never do something like that, to understand that the hunger that these people have to get out of poverty and to be put on center stage and be in magazines and be in concerts and have money and stacks of money. They're willing to do that. There's people that's willing to give up whatever they have to give up. I hear this, misconception all the time. Money is the root of all evil. The Bible don't even say that. It says that the things people are willing to do for money is the root of all evil. The things that you're willing to do for it is the root of evil. And you gotta understand that people are willing to do anything to buy their mama a house, to get out the hood, to live in a rich neighborhood, to be a superstar. When they started off, they just wanted to be a singer. They just wanted to be an actor. They didn't know that all of this other stuff that comes with it. But then they got set down, they had to make a decision. And a lot of these people that made that decision say, you know what, well, just being a regular average Joe working a 9 to 5, that's not for me. I have, all of this fame and glory and money on this side, or I could just go back to who I was and be, see if I can work myself to the top that way, being honest, but not selling my soul. Let me get some more. Deandra said, you said, my only beef with my brother Terrence Howard is white women. He's very smart. I even saw he created different periodic table that pairs elements in a better way. Yeah, that was, but yeah, he is very smart. Surprisingly, he invented a periodic table. He invented something else. I forgot what it was. It's comforting when a man or woman can be successful without selling their souls. Yeah, because you really earned it. You really, really earned it. Like you really earned it. No, you didn't have to you didn't have to do something strange for a little bit of change. You really earned it with your hard work and ethic. Yeah, gain the whole world, but lose your soul. Gain the whole world, but lose your soul. Yeah, you can only have two masters.
As men, we produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit, because the man card means everything.
I mean, there you have it. There you have it. Like, and that's so crazy, man. Like, so this is what happens in that industry. This is what they doing in that industry. They are, he's basically saying you have to be a man In order to survive, you have to be a man and you have to know who you are when you come up in there. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, it's like I'm going back to what I said. You don't work your whole life. You don't went to acting school and you don't worked on your craft and you know that you're good. And then you get up in there and you find out this is what it's all about. This type of wickedness is going on in the music industry and the movie industry and all of those industries of entertainment. There are people like that. I remember what the story came out a few years ago with the producer from Nickelodeon that was, you know, molesting the little actors. This is normal in that world. Then he said P. Diddy was trying to was telling him he wanted to do something with him on some business, and he get there and he's staring at him and looking at him and he ain't saying nothing. I mean, that's a predator. You know what I'm saying? That's disgusting also. I need to say that too. That's disgusting to know that. And you know, everybody was talking about, you know, that was in the airwaves months ago with P. Diddy. And also what you got to understand is P. Diddy, you know, he learned that from that behavior. He learned it from somebody too. You know what I mean? Now they put it on P. Diddy, but let's just think about the people he learned it from. Let's think about the white execs. Let's think about the white people that's actually doing it, the higher ups, because P. Diddy ain't, you know, he ain't that high up in there. But think about the people you don't see that run those companies, that have those parties. They talk about a P. Diddy party, man. There's parties like that in every, you know, level. You want to talk about the higher ups in the music industry? What about in the political arena? You don't think they're having those type of parties? Probably even more crazier and almost unbelievable of what you would think is actually happening. I seen a video with some white kids that said they have a whole bunch. They got away, but it was some of y'all probably seen the video. It was two white kids, very intelligent, explaining how they were, you know, trapped in a dungeon and the people, set them free to hunt them in the woods, and they got away. Like these people, they're like a sect of people that actually, you know, steal children, put them in cages, set them out in the forest to run and try to get away while they hunt them. This world is far more wicked than what you can see. Far more wicked, you know. Um, You said, yeah, the pizza parties of the political elite. As Hillary, okay. Yeah, I don't know about them, but I know things like that exist. I haven't researched too much into it, but I know the evil that exists. I mean, if they can have you as property and say that it was legal and think that it was okay, I mean, you can't be surprised with anything you hear. At one point in time, it was a conspiracy that the United States government put drugs in black communities. And then the files came out and everybody was like, oh, it was happening, you know? So, but getting back to the point, man, I salute Terrence Howard for, you know, being a man and standing on that. And, you know, if you want to be in that world, if you want to be an actress, you want to be an actor, you want to be, singer, songstress, rapper, whatever it is, just understand that there are things you cannot see that comes with that. And everybody that is in that world, they're not in there simply based on the fact that they can act, that they can rap, and that they can sing. All right. So this is my last story. This is some Black authentic history that I'm gonna bring out. All right. And so let me grab this article. This is an article. This is pretty good. Okay. Now, many people, many brothers and sisters, when we say that black people are the Israelites, you get a lot of backlash from that. The black people that came on the transatlantic slave trade are Israelites, and that we're different from native Africans. Our people were actually new to West Africa and settled in those lands, coming from the east, coming from the northeast. And there's this stigma about Israelites, where they say brothers be on the corners yelling at people and whatnot, and you know, it doesn't matter what color. It's so much stuff that goes that's kickback from when we talk about us being Israelites. It doesn't matter what color Christ is or anything like that. Israelites never existed. I heard that before. It's so much stuff, right? Now this is an article, and you can look this up yourself. This is an article from the Houston Daily Post, and it is dated September 20, 1897. And it talks about a Hebrew that a brother that came from Africa who was a Hebrew. So I'm gonna read. It says, a young African Negro has been in this city for the last few days who claims to be a Hebrew. He is deaf and dumb and as black as the ace of spades. He carries a pad of paper with him and answers all questions by writing them in Hebrew and Lashon Kodesh. Now they're writing it in the so-called Jews language, the way they write Hebrew. Well, really, it's the Lashon Kodash, which means the holy tongue. So he carries a pad and paper and he talks by writing down the Lashon Kodash. This is ancient Paleo Hebrew. What excites the most wonder is that he writes Lashon Kodash very rapidly. It is the language of the books of Moses and is made a special study of, spoken and written with ease only by the rabbis and highly educated Hebrews. So they're looking at it like the people that claim to be Jews, the white people, the rabbis, they are real Jews. So they're perplexed at this brother because he writes in the language that Moses would have wrote in, and he writes it fast. And only really well-educated people could even know this language because the Hebrew changed through the centuries. It changed from the Lashon Kodash or the Paleo to the Assyrian, okay, which is more modern. It says, the Negro was sent to one of the rabbis of Hartford, who is perfectly satisfied that he is a Hebrew. He says that he came from a large town in Africa where there is a tribe of 20,000 black Hebrews who speak Lashon Kodash and are quite prosperous. He also says that his father is a rabbi in that town, and that is why his father took the trouble to teach him to write these languages, which needed an extra amount of labor on account of him being deaf and dumb. He says his people not only write Lashon Kodash, but it is their speaking language as well. He left home a few years ago and has seen a good deal of the world. In each town, he hunts up the Jewish section, and there they give him clothes, food, and money. What surprises him, he writes, is that no Hebrew knows of his countrymen in Africa. I thought Hebrews didn't exist. I thought black people that came from Africa is African. And you know what I hate about the word Africa? Or when people use that word, because it's like a blanket term, right? But there's more than 54 countries in Africa, hundreds of ethnicities in Africa. So when you say African, you're putting everybody together. When I brought this out, some months ago, where they researched the genomes, the genes of Africans, and none of them are the same. So Nigerians, their genes would be different from Congolese. The point I'm making is that you have all these different groups in Africa. They're all dark skinned, but they are not the same people. Let me say that again. They're all dark skinned, melanated, but they are not the same people. Not the same people. You understand? That is a trick of of white Europeans and colonialism in American education that tells you that because we come from Africa, we're the same as all of our brothers on the continent of Africa. When even if you go to the continent of Africa, people don't identify with other people. What I mean by that, East Indians don't identify with West Indians, and vice versa. Now, at the end of this article, it says that he is surprised that Hebrews, when he meets these people, they don't know about their countrymen back in Africa where he's come from. They don't know that they are Hebrews back. There are people just like them back in Africa. They don't know that. You know what I'm saying? What's crazy also is that he is speaking the ancient Hebrew, which for when you really think about it, it had been forgotten about. People ain't using it like that no more. The ancient Hebrew, if you're speaking the ancient Hebrew in the 1800s, that means you are a Hebrew. That's irrefutable proof you are a Hebrew. Because at this time, they're speaking the Assyrian Hebrew, which comes from the Babylonian captivity, which comes way after Moses. He's speaking he's speaking the Hebrew of Moses. There's another book called the Bambara, where a Jewish scholar went and stayed in West Africa, and he starts to learn the language of these people. And then he starts to realize that the language is Hebrew, and he starts to find words, Hebrew words in the language. And he did in the Bambara, the area of the Bambara. And then he realizes that the words being used for certain things are the same words that would have been used in the time of Moses, the same Hebrew that would have been used in the time of Moses. Meaning we're in a modern time. The Hebrew has changed. So with that being said, what Black Rain said, you got a cut. Yes, this is definitely a cut to people that say that the Hebrews don't exist. So you can just look this up. You can look it up and you can download it. It is matter of fact, I will put it in the chat. I will put the article in the chat. And hopefully you can copy and paste. Put the article in the chat. There's another article I'm gonna bring out where it talks about how the Shemitic people that came down into West Africa, they mingled with the Hamitic people over a process of time. This is the reason why a lot of people, when you look at West Africa, you can find a lot of similarities of the West Africans compared to Black Americans, because that's where we were at, and we were mingling together or mixing. I don't like to use the word mix because it says that you have two heritages when you really are the seed of your forefather. But we were mixing with Native Africans, but also being despised by them. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all don't understand. Y'all, we do understand this. You talk to some Black people and they say, well, Africans, they don't like us. You can't put your finger on why. You don't understand it. You don't understand it because it's a spiritual thing of why they don't. The same way you don't understand why racism hasn't went away, because it is embedded in them from a spiritual perspective to always be like that. Not saying you can't find some Africans that love Black Americans. I'm not saying you can find some white people that, will help Black people and stand on the same causes for Black people. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying as a group, collective group, there was just something that happened. What just happened? Oh, one of those fake Israelite groups was out there in Africa, and they threw some what they call it, some bombs at them, tear gas bombs at them, told them to get the hell up out of there. You better get up out of here trying to say we the chosen people. You know what I'm saying? They threw tear gas and ran them up out of the city. You know what I'm saying? They was not having it. Because once they hear that, oh, black people that came on the transatlantic slave trade are the real Jews, and the people that sold them are not, they don't want to hear that because they know the history. They know they're not the same as the people that got put on slave ships. Y'all kill me with that Pan-Africanism. When they ever put a Pan-Africanism boat from Africa to come pick your ass up? Y'all kill me with that. They'll say, okay, come to Ghana, come here for your money to stimulate their economy. They admitted to that. Ghana has admitted to the return to Africa in 2019, and even now is about stimulating their economy, bringing those American dollars that black people done saved up to buy a home and say, I can go live in the motherland for a lot cheaper. And you go out there and they extorting black people. They're murdering black women. There's a sister, and I might do one of her videos. I'm gonna try to get her to do an interview. There's a sister that live out there right now. She grew up, I believe she grew up in Oakland, but she's witnessed a woman get another sister get killed, and then they took her house. And it's happening a lot, and no one is talking about it. And how they extort black people. They try to charge you double and triple the price of things once they realize that you're from America. Yeah. So much for the motherland and brothers. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is solid 100% pure truth that Hebrews were in West Africa. You cannot speak the Lashawan Kodash. Not only did he speak the Lashawan Kodash, he said back home, his people, it's like 20,000 of them. They live in good, prosperous, and they speak it fluently. They speak it fluently. Renee said, my homegirl just told me today that she ran into my people today, meaning the Israelites. I said, what color did they have on? She said, purple. I said, run from them niggas. You funny, Renee. Hey, thank you, Black Rain 303. This is a classic live right here, fam. Man, listen, I'll be trying to come with something that's educational. I know I talk about the current events, but a lot of people talk about, what's true or what not and have their opinions on things. Let's bring out some facts. Let's bring out some archives. Let's bring out some things that prove what you stand on, that actually prove what you stand on. You know what I mean? Like if I tried to prove to you that the people that came on the transatlantic slave trade were just Africans or Ghanaians or Nigerians, I can't prove that to you. Not in true honesty. I couldn't. And I dig and I research and I wouldn't be able to show you that because it's not there. When I read the slave memoirs from white slave masters, when I read what the Africans say, when I read what the historians say, when I read articles like the one I just read, everything is pointing to the fact that the people that were sold by people who probably to a European, they both look the same because they all black, but they were different in culture and ethnicity. You don't sell nobody that you love, that is your people, to some alien race that comes that is pale-skinned, that they're going to take them over the ocean. You don't do that. In no time in history, the Romans or the Greeks, the Babylonians, they didn't enslave their own people. They went to war with other peoples who were not them and enslaved them and put them in the Colosseum. It's never happened in history. So I don't know why people would take that lie, or why they believe that for the first time in history, these people sold their own people. These people are so low. This is the white education. These people are, this is the American education system. These people are so brutal and so low that they eat their own people. They would sell their own people into slavery. Isn't that their get back when you talk about slavery? They say, well, we did that, but your people sold your own people. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Well, we know what Europeans is that they look at black people as though anybody black is the same. That is the miseducation of their education system. That's not how the ancient world looked at color. Color wasn't even a thing in the ancient world like it is in the modern Western civilization. Color wasn't even a thing. When I say modern Western civilization, I'm talking about Europe. I'm talking about France. I'm talking about America. I'm talking about the places where white colonism conquered. That's when color became a thing. That's when black became a curse. That's when it became a curse. You know what I'm saying? People looked at people by their heritage, who they were. People didn't hate you because you was black. They hate you because you was an Israelite, a Jew, a real Jew. That's why they would have a reason to hate you, not because of the color of your skin, but because of your heritage and who you are, culturally and ethnically. Okay. So with that, y'all, I think I hit every point. I hit every point. I dotted every T. And I got through everything I wanted to get through. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, and I'm gonna give y'all some shout outs because y'all always be rocking with me, and I appreciate that. Renee Gaines, always rocking with me. Cover Miles Boff, always rocking with me. Sister Deandra, always rocking with me. Sister Barata now, always rocking with me. Michael Foster, I appreciate you, always rocking with me. Princess Nakaf, thank you for rocking with me. UPK Quadash, thank you for rocking with me. Black Rain 303, my main man, always been down, always show support. Negro League, thank you for your input. Thank you, I appreciate that. Trooper Anaquadam, thank you for tapping in. Appreciate that. Yeah, so let me make sure I don't want to miss nobody. You know, I know a lot of other people were watching, but they didn't tap in. Black Dazzle always rocking with me. Appreciate that. Yaiqua, Big Jew. Hey, shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, so yeah. Davion Perchu, shout out to you. Rocking with me. Aurora, shout out to you. I believe that's Aurora, right? Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, so let me get this prepared. 1 second. Yeah, man, but yeah, so I showed you that the Jews were everywhere and they came from West Africa. There's so much information out there that gets overlooked or not even considered because people can't consider black people being God's chosen people. They would rather consider us being ancient Egyptians, you know, which I understand. But what we do is we tend to do in the black community in America is to find our heritage. We go past West Africa and we go straight to Egypt. And, you know, that is a mistake to go past West Africa where we came from and go straight to Egypt because Egypt was so great. And everybody wants to claim Egypt. Like the white people claimed Egypt, Arabs claim Egypt. Everybody wants to claim Egypt because a lot of the monuments are still standing. They haven't turned to dust. Not saying that the ancient Babylon, those places are still standing also, but nobody wants to claim those. But those pyramids, they definitely want to claim, right? And so, you know, let me Just trying to get this together. I was just trying to get that together. So, yeah, Black Rain. Oh, there's some good information. Let me give you one more thing. When it comes to ancient Egypt, right? And I'll get the breakdown, right? I have the actual article and stuff, but it's the book. What is the book's name? What is the book name? A Black Image in the White Mind. And this book was written, during the time of scientific racism. And it's when they would study the skulls, chronology. And what they set out to do was to show that white people were superior. That was the whole premise of them studying the skulls. They would study the skulls to say, oh, this skull in Caucasians is different because of intelligence. This skull in Black people is different, and this shows you that they don't have intelligence. So they would study skulls like that. Well, I believe the craniologist's name was Morton. They got the skull of ancient Egyptians, and they got the skull of the servant class in ancient Egypt, and they had the skull of Black people in America, the slaves. They had skulls, right? And they was comparing them. They wanted to say that for a minute they thought that Black people in America were Egyptians. And so they're comparing the skulls, and what they found out is that the skulls of the ancient Egyptians, which was a Hamitic African race, differed from the skulls of the slaves in America. But the skulls of the servants in ancient Egypt that lived, I would say some of them lived in the area of Goshen and Avaris, those skulls were a perfect match to the skulls of the slaves in America. So basically, Black people had been relegated to the same servile servant position in America as ancient Egypt. This is documented facts that the slaves in ancient Egypt were Black people, the same people who became the slaves in America. This is factual. You can go look it up yourself. You understand? You can go look that up yourself. So yeah, and maybe I'll bring it out. I'll bring the actual art. I think I'm saying it word for word, but I'll bring it out, and the point wasn't for them to even prove that. What they were trying to prove was that they had the ancient Egyptians in slavery. It would have been like a chip on their shoulder to say, okay, these people, they were the ancient Egyptians, that we got them on the plantations out here. There would have been a chip on their shoulder, and also to show that, oh, white people are smarter and more intelligent than the ancient Egyptian. What they end up finding out is that it was two different classes of Black people. And not only that, is that the same people that were enslaved in America were also enslaved in Egypt. So when you're talking about we Egyptian, you are way off. First of all, the pharaoh was just that was a closed class. That was a family. So it was no kings and queens. The pharaohs was the pharaohs, and everybody else was commoners, regular people. You know what I'm saying? We got to get out of that. You talk about the Bible being a fairy tale. Believing we were the Egyptians is a fairy tale. There is no historical proof to prove that Black people that came through the cargoes through the transatlantic slave trade were the ancient Egyptians. It's nothing there. Now, it does show that we were within their society the same way we're here in America. You have some Black people that get high up in the society. You become, Joint Chief of Staff, and become, Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell. And because we're so great, even coming from what we come from, we can maneuver our way into higher parts of American society. But this, make no mistake, this is their world, their game. We just playing in it. And a lot of times we're just pawns in it. Damn, I'm just gonna keep on talking, huh? I'm gonna wrap it up. Let me see. Damn, y'all put a lot of comments. Okay. Black Dazzle. Thank you, Deandra. Black Rain said, he said, Khan, just like we made America great again and again, now it's time to return to the Most High. Yes, it's time for us to become a righteous people. And need to give me half of that. Yeah, it's time for us to return to being a righteous group of people, man. That's it. That's all. We got to return to being, the people that we were designed to be. So shout out to everybody. Appreciate all of y'all. And I will be back next week. Next week I will be in Atlanta, Lord willing, but I will definitely attempt to go live from Atlanta and just give my experience and drop something heavy, some history. I'll prepare something just for Atlanta. Maybe come out and bring some history on Atlanta, something out there. I'm sure there's a lot of deep history and stuff going on in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, also with the modern stuff, the alternative lifestyles, right? So with that, y'all, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I love y'all. I hope you have a good, rest of your day as far as Sunday, getting ready for Monday and going back to work, And with that, y'all, this is Black Authentic Truth. Peace.